Lifeboat Live, we have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics, ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck.
Hello. Hey, everybody. I am the captain, and you were on the lifeboat. It's good to see everybody. I'm glad you're all here. So I've been pulling double duty. I don't know if you guys have been heading over to chase the heat, but I've been grossly abused over on my brother's channel. There's been hurling, there's been disgusting fish, there's been hot peppers, there's been navage, and rumor has it I will be getting abused again later. That's pretty sure that was a box of peppers. So the idea being, I wanted to talk about the coming invasion. There's no other way to say it. I'm going to make people unhappy. And you know what? Honestly, I don't care anymore. That's where we're at. In 2 days, we've talked about this how many times? I mean, how many times? We've gotten this close and we've been saved by the judicial branch of our government stepped in and saved us at one point. The White House got nervous and saved us at one point. But in 2 days, it's on and cracking. They are just going to allow the people south of our border to come across unabated. Title 42 has been kicking people away, sending them back to their home countries, or at least into Mexico, for the better part of 2.5 years. In that time, it has released just over 3 million people is the estimate, 2.8 million contacts. Very often these contacts had 3 or 4 people with them. So they're guessing somewhere in the ballpark of about 3 million people have been turned away. And I got news for you. They didn't turn around and go home. They didn't. They've been waiting. And they've been waiting because they know that we've got somebody in the White House that is going to eventually let them in. And why would they think something like that? Because they have gone as far as to make hey, Drew, you want to leave? Hit that see you later button. Goes away real quick. Seriously, beat it. Here's what it comes down to. 400 people a day are dying from drug overdoses. You hear anybody else talking about it? That's fentanyl coming across our border every single day. You don't like my politics? Beat it. Got no problem seeing you leave. Our country is going to hell in a handbasket, and it's going to hell in a handbasket because the people in the White House don't care. They don't care that drug addicts are dying because we don't mean anything to anybody. We are the refuse. And as far as they're concerned, we're trash. So if I'm bumming you out with this, the exit is right behind you. They're estimating that we're going to see 10,000 people cross this border a day as soon as this thing goes. That is in addition to the number of people who are coming across the border every day. The cartels are using these people to overwhelm certain sections of the border so that they can then send packers with absolutely full backpacks full of pills of fentanyl. 44 million tabs. 44 million tabs got busted in one seizure the other day. There's only 330 million people in this country. If 44 million tabs got busted in one seizure, how bad do you think it is? Last year, 350 million. I'm sorry. This year, 350 million tabs have been caught in Texas alone. There are more of these killer pills in this country than there are people. And we're losing 400 a day, and nobody cares. Nobody's saying a word. If we lost 400 people in this country to any other type of death, we would be all over it. If it was train accidents, if it was plane crashes, if it was anything else, food poisoning, it would be the end of the world. We would shut down whatever we were doing. There'd be no more air travel. There'd be no more train travel. We would shut down every food manufacturer in the U.S. until we figured out what was up. But we don't, because these are just junkies. These are just drug addicts, right? Not worth saving. These are our brothers and sisters. So if I'm offending you, I'm really sorry. But find me someone else that's talking about this the way we talk about it. This is it. This is where we are at right now in this country, and it's getting uglier by the day. Uglier by the day. In 2 days, we are going to see an invasion in this country that is going to unravel every single thing that we've got going on. Everything. Drew, you're new. From the very first day that we started the lifeboat, I said the exception to this rule is when drugs and politics cross, and there is no option whatsoever to not talk about it. 10,000 more people a day crossing our border. Nobody in this country thinks that fentanyl is coming from any place other than our southern border. Any place. It is the number one cause of death in our country. Can you imagine that? From 18 to 50, the number one cause of death in our country is fentanyl overdose. Anybody doing anything about it? They're not. And they're not because people aren't saying a word, because we're junkies, because no one cares at all about who we are. You understand? No one cares at all about who we are. It's a fairly frightening concept that this is just going to be going on. And you got to scratch the hell out of your head and say, why is this being allowed? My hat's off to the people on this boat that have written letters to every single person that they can to try to make this stop. We've had a lot of people that have made a campaign to try to do something about this. And to all of you, I say thank you. You know, to all of you, I say thank you. But this is a frightening thing that, yeah, you know what? Now that they have to admit that it's not just drug addicts that are dying, but kids are dying too. Infant deaths have increased 30-fold. Amazingly, that doesn't get anybody's attention. Isn't that something? Truthfully, isn't that something? How in hell can they justify allowing this to happen? They don't care. There is no other explanation. This was not something that had to happen. This was not something that could not be avoided. This is something that they had to go out of their way to allow to happen. Mayorkas, whose job it is to tell us that that border is secure and that we have nothing to worry about, has said, we're in deep doo-doo. This is a crisis and the biggest one we've ever faced. And their solution is, we're just going to allow 10,000 more people a day to cross. They are bringing out the National Guard to go down there. And that's fluff because we're going, oh, thank God. You put the Army down there and stop these people from coming through, we're in good shape. But that's not why the Army's going there. The Army is going there to facilitate these people getting into the United States faster so that there is no bottleneck, so that we can process these people through quicker. Turn on the news. I don't care which channel you're into. Turn on the news and look what's happening right now in New York. New York City is sending all of these people who came across illegally to New Jersey. They can't handle it. Chicago right now, people are getting ready to riot because they do not want these people brought into their state. Does that make us haters? It makes us Americans. If somebody comes to your town and breaks the law, you're not going to be happy about it. If the opening salvo is, hey, how you doing? I'm here illegally. I would like you to give me a place to stay. I would like you to pay for my food. I'm going to need a cell phone that you pay for so that when they want to contact me to tell me to go to court, 80% of us will not go to court, but at least I get a free phone in the interim. We have lost our mind. We have lost our mind in this country. If you don't see it, I'm terribly sorry. I really am. I'm terribly sorry. If you do not see this, I apologize. But the end of the world for our country is about to happen. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. This is going to be the drug deaths that we have right now, threefold, fourfold, tenfold. Who knows? Who knows? We're kicking open the gates. For real. 42 has been how we have been sending the vast majority of people away from our border. And I don't want to hear, the people who say, they're just coming because they need asylum. Asylum laws say the next country you get to, right, you ask asylum. These aren't Mexicans asking for asylum. These are people from South America, which means they traveled through Mexico, but they don't want asylum in Mexico. You know why? Because Mexico's not going to pay for them. They're not going to pay for them to stay for free. They're not going to pay for them to get fed. They're not going to pay for them to get cell phones. I'm terribly sorry that these people have a rough life. I really am. But we have a method. We have a process. It's how my great-grandparents got here. It's probably how yours got here. This country is a melting pot of people from all over the world. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us awesome. Sadly, if you do away with the process, then you know what you get? You get countries that empty their prisons and say, go ahead. There's a caravan heading north. Go ahead. Head on over. They're literally dumping their prisons, their insane asylums. I feel for these people, man. I'm a convict. But to let them unabated into our country, as bad as off as we are right now, it makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. It is a freaking invasion, and it's happening in a couple of days. And you know what? It's fun. It's fun to come on, and it's fun to clown, and it's fun to have a good time. But this isn't being said. And do you know why it's not being said? Because when I say fentanyl in China, I'm not getting paid on this video. And they're not going to show it to anybody, right? They're not even going to let the people who are subscribers on my channel hear about it. Because I said China and I said fentanyl. Because China makes the fentanyl that's coming across our border. And if you guys remember, if you've been on the boat for any length of time, 7-8 months ago, might even be a year now, we came on and we talked about a class of drugs called phytonitazines. They are in every single state in the U.S. When we came on, they had been in one state. You heard about it on the news? Seriously, how often have you heard anybody talk about phytonitazines? Why would they move from fentanyl to nits? Because nits do not have any effect whatsoever on Narcan. If you overdose on nitazines, Narcan's not going to do a damn thing. I don't care if you got 40 of them in your backpack. You are not going to bring somebody back from the dead. These are not drugs intended to get people high. They're drugs intended to kill people. Drug dealers have no vested interest in killing their clients. It's bad for business, right? You want your drug addicts to continue to buy from you 2 or 3 times a day. And with Fent, they had to. Fent doesn't have legs. Straight up, straight down. You get 3 or 4 hours of well before you get sick again. And you have a vested interest in those people buying from you every 3 or 4 hours. I came on here and told you I was freaked out because this stuff was $10 a pill. Remember that? $10 a pill. I said, these pills can be broken up 3 or 4 times and they're only $10. Now they're $1.50. And in some states, they're $1. This is the world. It's a sad world. I'm not happy about this. I'm not. I'd rather be clowning on this right here. Look at that. Vegemite. How many jokes have we made about that? I would much rather be talking about this. I would much rather be doing anything. But you know something? No one is going to do this right now. Find another person tonight that's doing this show right now and talking about what's going to happen in 2 days. Because I'll tell you something right now, you're not going to find one. They don't want to get demonetized. They don't want to be called a hater. They don't want to get involved. And sadly, there's about 330 million people in this country. And I would say that about 90% of them just don't want to get involved. And when it was 150 deaths a day, nobody wanted to get involved. And when it was 250 deaths a day, nobody wanted to get involved. And now we're up to 400. Where are we going to be when we kick the gates open and say, now there's no reason to stop anybody? Every single person that comes across the border is getting in. That's literally what the repeal of 42 means. Everybody gets in, including the 3 million we already turned away. You think we can afford 3 million more people we're paying for? Zen Wen, I love you. I really do. ZW's in a border state. I'm moving to one. But I'll tell you something. I don't care what state you're in right now. It's a border state. I grew up in Vermont, and I've told this on the air so many times. When I went to college, they had never had anyone busted for heroin in the state in its history. And now people are dropping like flies from fentanyl. 300% increase in death over the last 2 years in a row. 270 and then 300. Tripling the number of people who are dying on it every single year. What's being done? What's being done? They're not even paying lip service. They used to lie about these things. They used to say, you know what? We're going to do something about it. You know, we're working on this. Now, see, the news won't report it because the news is complicit. In a perfect world, the fifth estate, the news, they run shotgun to make sure that our elected officials aren't BSing us and aren't doing anything that's going to get us killed. See, but now they're in. They're all in. Every chip. They're going to do everything they can to keep this decrepit old fool in office for an additional 4 years because who's ever propping them up likes it that way. Are we going to get a whole lot of push on the lifeboat by saying this? No, we're not. Is this good for my profile on YouTube? Nope, not at all. But you know what? I'm not going to sit by. The day is coming where I'm going to be gone, and this is going to be the only thing that's left. For real. This will be my epitaph, and I'll be damned if I am going to sit and do a show about, you know, how to feel better about yourself when in 2 days we are in so much danger. Our people, you understand? Our people. We come here and we say, we're not going to judge you if you come here. We're going to give you an opportunity to have people here that tell you that they love you, right? People here that say, you know what? We understand. You're not a bad person because you got addicted to drugs. You know, there's an imbalance in your brain. Literally, it's no longer a debate. You had an imbalance. Part of your brain that works too hard, part of your brain that doesn't work hard enough. And this is why you are so susceptible to becoming an addict. It doesn't make you a bad person. And that is really what the lifeboat is supposed to be about. But you know something? Our brothers and sisters are dying at 400 people a day. 400 people a day. Doesn't sound like it's rugged when you say 400. Look out your neighborhood, right? Drive by and look at houses in your neighborhood and realize that the average home in America has got 3.2 people in it. Okay? So how many homes are emptying every single day? My neighborhood doesn't even have 55 homes in it. So a neighborhood twice the size of mine, every 24 hours is gone. Empty houses, dead, 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 dead. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, cousins, uncles, aunts. Do you understand? This is it. We are at the breaking point right now. We can't take any more. We can't. If we are fortunate enough to be alive in 2 years, you better get your butt to the voting booth. And if this isn't the number one issue, forget the rest of them. And I'm not joking. Forget the rest of them. In the time that we have been a country, we have had a 50-50 split. It's like this much one side or the other. A 50-50 split of how often the right or the left has been in power. Now, how long have they held the White House and both houses? 50-50. True story. Which means they both have failed freaking miserably. Miserably. They have not done anything to protect the country. Both sides of the aisle. But I don't know that any of them have ever done it intentionally. And there is no way to look at what's going on right now. These people in office voted across the board to build a border wall. Every one of them. Look it up. Every one of them. A lot of them campaigned on it. But see, then the last president decided to do that. And it became a right or a left issue. So they're willing to let you die to make a political point. They're willing to let 400 Americans a day die so that they can make a political point. And in the same time, blame it on the people who were there before them. Not just T-Man, but everybody. You know, they've all failed. It's not me. It's not me. I inherited this. I got news for you. You didn't inherit squat. Didn't inherit squat. People, I wish I had a way to end this and say I feel good. I don't. I really don't. It's this is one of those things that literally makes me sick. It does. I know for a stone cold fact that if this had happened a decade ago, I'd be dead. And so would about 9 out of 10 people on the lifeboat. Because it's not just opiates, right? You snort cocaine today, you're going to get fent. You take pills. I told you, 38 different pills so far have been found pressed with this stuff in it, including friggin' Tylenol, right? Candies. Oh, it's a right-wing conspiracy. There's been no candies. You can go and look it up. Look up the pictures of it. They got caught at LAX. Somebody was bringing them through, right? In the boxes, sealed up. Now, look, they're not doing it to hand it to kids. They're doing it as a way to smuggle them. But you think that there's not a reason that infant deaths are up 30-fold? They're not going to do anything about it. They're not. They're not. We're 2 days away. Watch what's going to happen. You think the wheels have come off before? Wait until you see what they look like now. This is going to get a kind of friggin' ugly you've never seen before in your life. None of us have. And you're going to tell me that the people in office don't know this is about to happen? Huh? No, they know it's going to happen. They don't care. So I'll tell you what, if I sound like a dick today, I'm terribly sorry. Maybe we need a couple of more people to sound like dicks. Because at this point, this is inevitable. It's inevitable. You know what percentage of the people that are coming across the border are coming from countries that hate us, right? We're not just talking about, people from South America. No, they're queuing up right now in countries in South America and paying $30,000 a shot, 30 grand to get smuggled into the United States. The number of people who are coming in from China are astounding. Astounding. And if you talk to them, they'll all say the same thing. And if they say it so perfectly and so well trained that it's got to scare the hell out of you. Seriously, go on and watch the interviews. They say the same thing verbatim, like they have been trained. I am only here because this country equals freedom. And the country that I'm coming from is the complete opposite. Oh, but you managed to get out. People, we are going to end up sitting in this country with nothing left, going, what the hell happened? I'm here to predict to you that that's going to happen, right? When it happens, I'm not going to be the guy that said, what happened? I'm going to be the guy that said, man, I told you this was coming. I told you this was coming. They don't care. They don't care if your kids die. They don't care if my kids die. The only hope we got right now for our kids is to spend a crap load of time talking to them. Because if you think there's a lot of this crap in the country now, just wait. Just wait. The number of people that are going to come pouring across our border, just an extra 10,000 a day. If it were 10,000 a day, that would be terrifying. It would be terrifying. An extra 10,000 a day. And what did this guy do on his first day in office? Huh? On his first day, made it easier to come in. Right? Made it easier to come in. Cut the number of people on the border. Everything he did, everything, is the reason that we have a crisis right now with fentanyl. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. This man did this. He did it on his first day in office. You go Google and read every executive order he did on day one. Read it. I'm not making this stuff up. I don't like politics. I don't. I would like to come here and tell people how to get sober. But if you're dead, I can't help anybody get sober. I can't help anybody feel good about themselves if they're dead. And the number of people who are going to be dying because of the decisions being made right now, not by this old guy in the White House, but by whoever is propping up this old guy in the White House. Hell, he doesn't even know where he is. Is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe I'll go and eat a pepper on another channel and do something entertaining. Everybody can get a good laugh. I love you people. I'm really sorry that this is where we're at, but it is. And like I said, when this is over, I'm going to be the person that said, you know what? I've been telling you this. I never stopped screaming about it. I never stopped beating the drum. And if it hurt the channel, I didn't care. Right? And I'll tell you something else, people. It's not going to make me any more popular either. But if I were you, I would spend a great deal of time talking to God. A great deal. I don't care. Hate me. Go ahead. But if you got faith in God, I would spend an awful lot of time talking to him. And if you don't have faith in God, find one. Seriously, do a little reading. Find faith. Because what is going to happen in the next year is going to scare the hell out of you. I promise you. And if there's ever been a time that this country needed God, it's right now. And I'm not sorry for saying that. All right. Have a great night, everybody. I'm Tommy Scoville. This was The Lifeboat. Good night.